Alright class, we're going to start the dwelling design. Now I will be doing on Autodesk Inventor. You're going to be doing it on SolidWorks. I don't have SolidWorks on my laptop, so this is what you're going to get. I'm going to make just a big rectangle, since most houses have kind of a rectangular shape to them. And I'm going to plug in the exact dimension. This is 1 inch. I'm going to change it to something like 60 feet, which it just got really big. Okay. And I'm going to make it this way. Maybe we'll make it 30 feet. Alright, and then I'm going to say maybe on one side it's got something that goes out like that. And we'll have it come out another 20 feet. And we'll make it 20 by 20. 20 feet. And the distance from here to here, let's tell it to be 10 feet. Okay, so maybe that's my house. Now all houses have a foundation underneath them, so we're going to go to extrude, and that's basically a layer of cement that they're built on. And we're going to just, for the sake of math, we're just going to say it's 1 foot thick, so 12 inches, and we'll say okay. Now even between the layers of your house, they have joists and flooring and drywall, so we're going to say every level has a 1 foot thickness underneath it. So once you have the layout of your house, and these should all be exterior measurements because we're going to put walls on top of this, and that will then you'll have the interior inside of it. So it should look something like that, although obviously your houses will all look different. Then I'm going to put a sketch on here, and I'm going to enclose it. Now your walls need to have thickness, so I'm going to use a rectangle to do this. So we'll go from there, and there, from here, down. Alright, so now I've put walls on. Now all my walls need to have uniform thickness also. Now exterior walls tend to be thicker because they have a larger, a 2x6 piece of wood in between them. Interior walls tend to be thinner, but we're going to say for the sake of math, let's just make all of our walls 6 inches thick. Or you could put in half a foot. So you could either put in 6 inches like I'm doing, or you could say 0.5 feet, and they're going to be the same. Okay, and then you've got all the dimensions on there, and all the walls are 6 inches thick. And what I'm going to do at this point is I'm going to go to extrude this. And again, you're on SolidWorks, not Inventor, so yours will look slightly different than mine. But when you select this, you're going to want to specify the heights of all the walls in your house. Now standard heights are typically either 8 or 9 feet. Now I accidentally selected the middle of this, so if I hold down Shift and I click it again, it'll unselect it. Or not. Let's just try that again. I'm going to go ahead and pause this and put all the walls in. Okay, so as you're seeing here, I selected all of the exterior walls, and now I'm going to specify a height. I'm just going to say 9 feet for the height of my walls, which if we enter it in inches is going to be 108 inches. And now you start to see that they are looking like the walls of a house. So I'll say okay to that. The next step is to design your doorways and your windows. So I'm just going to make some guesstimates and say, well, we've got a big doorway and some windows back here. So I'm going to put a sketch on the inside of this face, and I'm going to tilt it so I can actually see it. And I'm going to do a rectangle, and let's say from the bottom, it's going to come up. That's going to be a door, and I'm going to have a window here, and maybe another window over here. And then I'm going to dimension all of those. And your standard door, let's say if it's an exterior door, maybe it's got a 3 foot width, so we'll say 3 feet. But I also need to know the height of this. So the door might be 7 feet tall. And these are measurements that you'll want to do in your house. And window, let's say it's a 4x6 window. So the height of this window is going to be 48 inches. And the width is going to be 72 inches. And we'll do the same thing over here, 72 inches with a height of 48. Alright, also how far are these windows off the ground? Let's say they're 3 feet off the ground, 36 inches from here to here, and again 36. Now I also would need to know how far are they from each other, how far are they from the wall, so how far is this door away from here, and then maybe we'll say it's 3.5 feet, which would be 42 inches. Okay, now once I've got all that in there, I can go to 3D model and I can select extrude, and I can choose all 3 of those areas and go to cut and take them out. And now my dwelling has windows and it has a door. The last thing I want to cover in the design of this is potential stairways. So I'm going to put a sketch on this wall right here. Because once you make all the basics, then you'll be just accessorizing. So let's say for the stairways, we're going to use rectangle, and let's say it starts right at that point. And let's say your stair comes up something like this, and I'm just kind of guesstimating. But you'll actually dimension it out with a length and a height, basically a rise and a run for each one. And you'll design that all the way up, and you'll get them dimensioned just as you want. And if you wanted, you can also trim out the sections in between if you like. But once you get that, you'd then be able to go to extrude. You'll be able to select your individual stair areas. And I think a standard stair is about 3.5 feet wide, which is 42 inches. And if we say OK, then you're going to end up with a stairway that looks something like that. Most stairwells, since underneath them is just open space, and we don't want to lose that space, oftentimes you have maybe a closet underneath stairs, or if you have a multi-level house, you have stairs on top of stairs, so that you're utilizing the space underneath them. Okay, that should be some of the basics that you need to get started on the dwelling design as far as making the foundation, building the walls, then putting your windows and doors into the walls, building stairs, and then you just accessorize. Okay, you can add couches and TVs and toilets and all that important stuff, sinks and countertops. So have fun with this, and we'll see what you design.